Hey y'all, welcome back to Mandy's Music Monday on Wednesday. Um, okay, here's the thing. One of my friends gave me the idea to do like favorite music videos. Um, and I had been working on it and I was gonna do it Monday, or I was actually gonna do it Sunday night. But then I'm like, no, I can't pick just like I try to only pick 5 because I talk a whole lot. And I'm like, there is no way I can pick just like 5 favorite music videos. Like there's just no way I could just pick 5. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to break them down. Or she even said, well, maybe you could just break them down into like artists. So that's what I've done. So this is going to be like a series. Um, Sorry, whenever I do that, it makes me think of X-Files. I had to pause for a moment and imagine that. You're hearing, and I said you're hearing. Never mind. X-Files people will totally get that. These are the 5 that I've picked. Okay, so if you think I should do like a different one, or you have just, if you want to suggest another one, you can totally do that too. I've picked 80s music because I just love 80s. And this one was actually really, really hard to pick one, or just pick 5, because there's so much 80s that I love, and all that 80s music and all those 80s music videos are in my heart, and I just can't pick 5, but I did. So 80s music, and then my Goo Goo Dolls, Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks, and Bowie. You will notice in this list there is no Bowie or Mac or Stevie because they all had songs in the 80s. And I didn't put any on this list because I'll be able to put them on their list. So today I'm going to do my favorite 80s music videos, and this actually ended up being sort of my favorite 80s music videos, but they actually ended up being like 80s music videos that I can vividly remember as a child, and I can still watch them today, and they're way awesome. So, and another thing that I found out when I was like trying to figure out what videos I wanted to pick, I had to go online and do some research and how to Wikipedia some stuff, and I was watching some videos on YouTube. A lot of videos are the same. They involve 80s clothes and 80s dancing, and especially like hair bands or metal bands in the 80s. They really didn't have some, I'm not gonna lie, some videos did have a slight storyline, but most of them just had like hot chicks and hardly any clothes, and they were like concert performances, or they were them, like they're performing live and they're just videotaping them. So I found that a lot because I was thinking, well, I want to do Pour Some Sugar on Me, or I wanted to do some Guns N' Roses. What I really wanted to do was Sweet Child of Mine. And because first of all, that's like one of my childhood songs. That was one of my mom's favorite songs in the 80s. And I can remember that video, but that video is nothing but, him slithering across like a snake. She always would say, oh, Mandy, look, he's going to do the snake. He's going to do the snake. So he would like slither, that little slide thing that he would do. And that was it. They were like playing in a garage or in a room or something. And so yeah. Anyway, let's just get started before I start rambling too much. Okay, here's my little list. Okay, number 1. Okay, I really remember listening to this or hearing this in California, and I was really little in California. I was like 2 and 3 years old, probably 2, because this song, I looked it up, it came out in 84, and this is Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. And when I looked it up on Wikipedia, it said that it was about a runaway leaving her lover, which, I guess it kind of is, but, it starts out, he meets her, which actually the guy that plays her boyfriend was her boyfriend in real life at the time, and her brother and her mother was in that video too. And then the guy from Girls Just Want to Have Fun, I can't remember his name, he's in that video too. You can see him like he's cooking in the background. And but anyway, like they meet and she's on normal and she's got like her blonde wig on, and then after a little while she's kind of coming into herself, and she like colors her hair all red, and she like shaves the side of it, and it's got like little boxes on the side, and then his friends are all making fun of her, and he gets embarrassed and she leaves, and she decides, well, maybe she needs to go back home, or she's just leaving and going somewhere completely different. I haven't really understood that part because she goes and she says bye to her parents. So maybe like she went to say bye to her parents after she ran away from home. It's like, hey, I'm totally cool. I was hanging out with this really old dude in his like tiny trailer in the woods. But I'm gonna like leave again. So sorry. But anyway, you know, and then like I've been able to understand, like, you know, she leaves and he comes back and gets her, and then they go back in and they're like repacking. It's either her suitcase or he's packing his own, because I haven't decided if like he was helping her repack her stuff because she packed really fast and sloppily, or if he was packing his own suitcase and he was going to leave with her, but then when he gets to the train station he decides not to leave with her because he's still standing there with the suitcase when she leaves. I want to say that's kind of what it was. But that video is just so sad and it's so heartbreaking. And I saw in pop-up video one time, like, that tear that she cries at the end was totally real and it wasn't planned. She was just sad and she cried, and that just makes it even more awesome. And another thing I love about this song is my dad's music is like totally, his taste in music is totally freaking crazy, because he goes from country one second to Eminem to like Metallica. And he told me one time when I was little, and this is probably another reason why I like this song, I always remember, he's like, I really like this song. I like this song. And I just always remember him liking time after time. So, and I read when I was reading on Wikipedia that 120 different artists have covered this song, whether it be like covering it live or an actual, you know, it's on an album somewhere. And I thought that was interesting. So number 2 is I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston. This song came out in 87. So that does put it around the time I lived on Fort Knox when I was in kindergarten. And what I really remember about this video, and I think the reason why it really struck me so much, because I thought she was so pretty, and she had on like that little mini lavender dress. And I remember asking my mom one time, I'm like, how did she change her hair so much? You know, it went from short to long and short to long. And that's when I learned about extensions. And she's like, Mandy, that's not her real hair. And then she explained it to me, and I'm like, oh, that is so awesome and cool. I want that when I grow up. But the part that I like really vividly remember is when she's like, don't you want to dance? You want to? And she's shaking the dude, you know, remember he's like in the top hat and tails, and she's like shaking the crap out of him, and then she throws him. Well, you know, as an adult, you watch this video again, and it is plain as day that is a freaking dummy that she's shaking like that for like a complete 5 seconds. You know that is a dummy. But as a child, I'm like, why is she being so mean to that man? If she wants him to dance with her, she shouldn't shake him like that. You know, like in my mind, that's what I'm thinking, you know. And yeah, that makes me giggle. But yeah, I like that video. And she's got there's like the little shoes dancing around, and then there's the part where they're like in the like the changing room and you see everybody's socks. That part's really cool. Oh, and they have she's in like the red dress and she's dancing around with a bunch of people, and they have like all the confetti falling down. I always wanted to dance in confetti as a child. That's, you know what, that's something that should go on my bucket list. I need to dance in confetti before I die. So yeah, that needs to go on my bucket list. I do have a music bucket list, in case you all were wondering. I have a music bucket list, and that needs to go on there. I need to dance in confetti till I want to dance with somebody before I die. I need to write that down somewhere before I forget it. Okay, number 3 is Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen. And this song came out in 84 too. So I really don't remember listening to it as a child or watching this video as a child, but I remember it in like middle school or something. You know, like VH1 always showed older videos and stuff. And when I was in middle school is when I really started watching VH1. I only really watched MTV as a child, like when I was like 5 and 6. And then after that, I was listening to country music. And then as I got a little bit older, I started watching, you know, that. So, okay, Bruce Springsteen to me is at his most awesome in the 80s. Like, some people will totally disagree. I mean, this is the same thing as David Bowie era. Some people like him in the 60s, some people like him in the 70s, some people like him now. You know, it just depends on your musical taste. And my favorite Bruce Springsteen is in the 80s. And this video, oh my gosh, this is something else that's on my musical bucket list. Is, okay, it starts out and there's like the slow pan of his legs in like the freaking tight ass jeans. Okay, and when you wear jeans like this, you cannot not strut it like Bruce Springsteen. I mean, he is freaking getting down in this video dancing, and there's not many videos that he's dancing like that, and probably because this song is called Dancing in the Dark, so you can't have Dancing in the Dark without dancing. And then he's got that white shirt on with the sleeves rolled up and it's unbuttoned just the right amount. You know, you can overdo it with, you know, how many buttons you have unbuttoned, and his was just the right amount for him. And, you know, like, he's all getting into it, and, you know, there's a certain face that he makes, you know, it's his boss face when he's like really getting down and he's like all scrunched up and he's singing with his boss face on. I love that. And then, you know, like he's doing the little dancing in the dark dance. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to do it. But, and then, you know, like at the end, he pulls Courtney Cox up on stage and they're like doing a little dance in the dark video dance. And I mean, like that day, every time I freaking hear that song, I want to dance like that, but I'm not going to dance like that in front of anybody. And I mean, I would never know to dance like that unless it was in that video. I mean, like, really, how could I not know to dance like that if I hadn't seen the video? And I mean, it's just, that's just like a great, great video. And that's one of the things I want to do is I want to go to a Bruce Springsteen concert and I want to do the Dance in the Dark video dance in the dark and nobody will see me. Nobody will see me, but that's on my concert bucket list. Or music bucket list. Okay, number 4 is Loverboy by Billy Ocean. And this song, okay, this one came out in 84 too. And this video is basically, imagine like a Star Wars party with all the Star Wars monsters and aliens hanging out in a cave on the beach in like a bar. I mean, that's basically what this video is. When it starts out, there's this guy riding on a horse along, you know, like the coastline. But on closer inspection, it's basically like a dinosaur in a cape and a hood. That's what it is. And then he goes inside this bar and he like sees this chick from across the room and he thinks she's like, I guess, really hot, but he doesn't like the people that she's hanging out with. So he just like, you know, like shoots at them and he snatches them up. And then, you know, at the end of the video, they ride away on that horse again. And it's really odd, and every once in a while it's just like Billy Ocean. He's like floating around in this little cube, and then the cube will pop up and he's like just singing, you know, Loverboy. And that's one of those videos that just sticks with you. And even to this day, I don't know what this video is supposed to be about or what the concept behind this video is, or if they were high when they thought of this, but I can watch this video and enjoy it. Like, I enjoy it. Even though it's freaking weird as hell, I enjoy this video. And I don't know if I enjoy this video just because of Billy Ocean. That's probably it. I mean, Billy Ocean is a man. Billy Ocean is awesome. I would go see him right now in concert. Loverboy is one of those songs that I have on a million mix CDs. Like, I used to put Loverboy on a CD all the time. And there's one other thing I will say about this before this is getting too long because I keep trying to watch time. There are very few songs in this world that I think that I think should be covered, because I don't usually like covers. But this is one of those songs that I would love to hear somebody do a cover version of, but I want to hear it as a duet. Because in my mind, I can hear it with a guy and a girl singing it. And, you know, it's in my mind, it's freaking amazing. So somebody needs to do it, but I don't know who should do it. Like, because I don't want no pop star now doing it because they all freaking suck. But I'm thinking, like, they should just take the original Billy Ocean and just add, like, a chick to it, you know? But I don't know who it should be because I don't like anybody that's out right now, and I don't want them to ruin it. But in my mind, I can vividly hear a callback between a guy and a girl. You know, like, you want to be my lover boy? And then it's like, I want to be your lover, you know, lover girl, whatever. Or I want you to be my lover boy. You know, something like that. I can hear that in my mind clear as day. It should happen. Somebody should make this happen. Okay. And lastly, number 5, it was a tie. I swear I couldn't decide because both of these videos had a very deep impact on me as a child. And both of these videos don't really have any storyline. And these are one of those videos that I was talking about that it's just like, you know, stage performance of a hair band. And it's Livin' on a Prayer by Bon Jovi that came out in 86. You know, I just remember as a child thinking it was so cool that they had like this big hair and like they were flying. And I'm like, I want to fly like that over a crowd of people. It was just the greatest. So, like, the beginning starts out there, and it's in black and white, and they're practicing. And then all of a sudden, when it gets to one of the, it, like, goes in color, and it's like Dorothy when she lands in Oz. And then everybody's in color, and, like, all the audience is there, and they're, like, totally rocking out. And then, like, at the other, part, Bon Jovi, like, flies across them. And I always remember that. And I love this. I love that video. And I don't know why, because it's not anything special. You know, it's not anything amazing and great, but I mean, I love that video. And the next one is Whitesnake. Here I go again. And first of all, we need to talk about this because even as a child, I thought David Coverdale was beautiful. Beautiful. gorgeous man. I thought he was so pretty. And, you know, he had like all that long, blonde, poofy hair. And if I had hair like that, I would rock it just like he was rocking it in that video. I mean, it's gorgeous. But the thing is he has like the most perfect, like little chiseled, statuesque man face, and he's got his little cheekbones right here, they're all prominent, and he was so pretty. And even as a little girl, I remember thinking he's hot, he's pretty. I remember thinking that as a child. But you know, this is another one of those videos where, like, well, the thing is when I watched this when I was little, I thought I was watching something really, really bad, because she's like rolling all over those cars. You know, Tawny Katane is like rolling all over them cars. And I'm like, should I be watching this? Because I'm feeling like, I didn't know the exact term when I was a child, but now I know the way I was feeling was like, okay, this is kind of slutty and I'm little. I don't know that I should be watching this. And then like David Coverdale's like rubbing all over her and they're like French kissing, and you know, like, I don't know that they should have been letting me watch that video when I was that little, because I'm like, what are they doing? You know, the one other video that came really, really close to making a cut, but I decided I'm going to do it anyway. I don't even give a fuck. It's, you have to have Madonna in an 80s, okay, lineup of favorite videos. And this one was really hard because a lot of her videos aren't on YouTube, so I had to get my, I have her DVD thingy with all the videos on them. And I finally decided on Borderline because I can't remember watching that one as a child. And what I really, really remember about that video is her orange sock, not her orange socks. She had neon green socks and orange shoes on. That's what I remember. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And at the end, she has that freaking big ass hat on with that black bow. That's so cool. I would rock that hat right now. I'll be wearing that hat. If I had that hat, I would wear it right now for this video because I love that hat. But it starts out, you know, like she's hanging out with all her peeps and her dude. And this guy comes up and he wants her to model. And so she goes and she models for him. And then maybe they kind of have a little fling, you know. And then, you know, her boyfriend's like all jealous and she's on the cover of this magazine. And he's like, no, I don't want you no more. I want to go in this freaking bar and play pool and totally ignore you even though you're Madonna. I'm going to go play some pool. And so then towards the end of the video, the director puts that hat on her and she doesn't want to wear the hat. She's like, oh, this hat's telling them, and she takes it off and then she puts it back on and he gives her spray paint and she's like spray painting the wall. And then she like turns around and she spray paints a car and he gets all mad at her. And then it's like, that's when she has her realization moment. You know, that light bulb just came on. It's like, oh my God, why am I here? I should be with my totally cool boyfriend in a bar playing pool. And that's what she goes and does. And then they live happily ever after in the bar. I guess that's how that video ends. But, you know, super cool. Like I said, and, hopefully, I don't know if I like these 80s videos because of the song or because of the video. It's very hard to tell. You know, and I was trying to think of songs from the 80s that had like really good story plot lines, and I really couldn't think of that many. So if you can think of some, tell me. And then I'll go and watch them. You know, if they have like a storyline. I know there's some 80s videos out there that have storylines, and it's not just dudes dancing or chicks dancing. You know. I also liked Belinda Carlisle, Heaven is a Place on Earth. I do like that video. I should have talked about that one. But that was another video that made me feel dirty too, and I don't know why. I think it's because she was like rolling around on the wall. Remember, she's like standing in the corner and she's like rolling around and like her shirt's like half off. I always thought that was dirty too. And but I love that song and I love that video, and they have those big globes. That was really cool. And the other thing that I just remembered that I want to tell you was David Coverdale. I didn't know this until I was reading on Wikipedia because I was reading about the videos. He has dual citizenship. He became a U.S. citizen in 2007. So he's a citizen of the U.S. and the U.K. and he apparently lives in Nevada. That's super cool. Maybe I should go to Nevada and stalk him. You know, because he's aged really well. He's not blonde anymore, but he's aged really well. So... okay, that's it, guys. Bye. See you next time.